tonight. So we're going to start with this first clip that gives us some history about what's going on. When Heaven first brought this story to me, I'm not going to lie, Heaven, don't be mad. But I'm like, don't nobody give a damn about no damn Sudan. What's she talking about? They've been having genocide. I'm just being honest with you.
That's what I thought when I saw this was the topic.
I'm just really being blunt. But then I was like, all right, let me do a little bit of a deep dive. And my mind was blown with what's going on over there and how it all connects. And that's the only reason I'm talking about it tonight. Other than that, I'm going to be real with you. I wasn't going to cover it. I'm just saying I wasn't going to cover it. But here we go. This is the history about the Sudan.
If you Google what's happening in Sudan, you'll be greeted with horrific satellite photos, images of blood-caked soil and blackened ruins. The city of El Fasher in Darfur has fallen, and what's unfolding there has been described as genocide in real time. In this explainer, we take you inside Sudan's civil war, who's fighting, how the conflict spiraled into genocide, and why the world's silence could be enabling one of the worst humanitarian disasters in decades. Sudan's current war traces back to 2019, when mass protests ended 3 decades of Omar al-Bashir's iron-fisted rule. For a brief moment, Sudan looked ready for democracy. But that dream crumbled in 2021, when 2 generals, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemedti, staged a coup against the transitional government. Burhan commands the Sudanese armed forces, the country's conventional military. Hemedti leads the Rapid Support Forces, a powerful paramilitary born out of the Janjaweed militias that carried out atrocities in Darfur 2 decades ago. Both men were allies once, ruling together after the coup. But by 2023, tensions boiled over. Burhan wanted the RSF absorbed into the army. Hemedti refused, seeing it as an attempt to strip him of power. What followed was an all-out war that ripped Sudan apart. The RSF has roots in the Janjaweed. The militia's infamous for burning villages and massacring non-Arab communities during the Darfur genocide of the early 2000s. Rebranded and formalized under former dictator al-Bashir, the RSF became both a domestic enforcer and a regional mercenary outfit. Its fighters were deployed to Yemen and Libya, often paid in gold mined from Sudan's rich deposits. Sudan's gold has bankrolled the RSF's war chest. Reports from the UN and independent investigators say the group smuggles gold through networks reaching the United Arab Emirates, accusations the UAE denies. Still, many analysts believe the RSF's rapid military rise, with access to advanced drones and heavy weapons, points to deep-pocketed foreign backers. El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur, was once a refuge for over 1 million displaced civilians. For 18 months, it stood as the last major army stronghold in Darfur. But by late October 2025, the RSF encircled it completely. Supplies dwindled, hospitals ran out of medicine, and residents resorted to digging trenches around their homes for protection. When the RSF finally stormed the city, the result was carnage. The UN reports that hundreds were killed in a single day, including dozens inside a maternity hospital. Eyewitnesses described gunmen executing families and looting aid trucks meant for refugees. By the time the fighting stopped, El Fasher was almost entirely destroyed. The UN now warns that what happened there amounts to ethnic cleansing. Since the war began, more than 150,000 people have been killed and 12 million displaced. That's nearly 1 in 4 Sudanese. 25 million people, more than half the population, now depend on humanitarian aid. Yet the UN says it has received barely a fraction of the funding it needs. Both sides have been accused of using starvation as a weapon of war, blocking food and medicine to punish communities seen as loyal to the other. Doctors Without Borders has warned that famine-like conditions are already emerging across Darfur and Kordofan. The global response has been muted. The United States formally declared the RSF's actions as genocide in early 2025 and imposed sanctions on both the RSF and Sudanese army leadership. Sudan even took the UAE to the International Court of Justice, accusing it of arming the RSF. But the ICJ dismissed the case, saying it lacked jurisdiction. Egypt supports General Burhan's army, while the RSF is believed to receive material support from the UAE. Saudi Arabia and the US have hosted peace talks, but none have produced lasting results. Analysts warn the war risks spilling over into neighboring Chad and South Sudan, both already struggling with refugees and instability. What makes Sudan's tragedy especially haunting is its visibility. This is not a hidden genocide. It's happening in front of satellites, reporters, and governments that all know, yet fail to act. As aid workers flee and communications collapse, entire towns are being erased off the map. For many in Darfur, this feels like history repeating itself. The same communities once targeted in 2003 are now being massacred again. And just like 2 decades ago, the world is watching, but doing little. As El Fasher burns, Sudan's people continue to plead for the world's attention. Every hour counts, every silence costs lives. For more in-depth explainers and global news updates, don't forget to subscribe to the Indian Express on YouTube and hit the bell icon.
Okay, and so this is the good point. Delta said it's the Arabs backing it. So let me tell you this. I will say this. We have a good friend of the show, Mr. Nick, and he would always say, what about Congo? What about Sudan? And I would think, oh, the deflection is real. I'm starting to think that what some of the Zionists say, that this, why are you guys focused on Gaza? Why aren't you focused on this? That's why I say it's all connected. I feel like we're in a matrix and we're being distracted. Why do you think Americans and the world doesn't care about this?
Simple as this. There's been genocides going on in Africa for, I don't know, probably what, 100 years now, at least, that I can think back. The biggest ones were the DRC, Rwanda, were over, I think it was like close to like 3 million people were unalived over the last 30 years. What were the other big ones? This is something that's been going on there. You have rebel groups fighting against the government there. You have the government unaliving people. Then you have the rebel groups unaliving people. It's just an ongoing cycle. I don't really think it's deflection that we're not talking about this, that we're talking about other things. I'm not saying this is not how I feel about it, but I think the world just doesn't care anymore. Because whatever we do, whatever the world does, let me choose my words correctly. Whatever the world does, it's not going to matter in there at all. They're going to keep doing it. People are going to keep unaliving, or they're going to keep genociding people over and over and over again, no matter who we put in place there, who we help put in power there, or what rebel groups we fund. Because it's not just the UAE that's funding these genocides, because the United States has been funding them. Russia has been funding them. China has been funding them. Every single civilized country around the world has been funding these genocides that have been going on in Africa since colonization times. Going back to the British, they're really the ones who really started funding all of these militia groups to genocide the people in those areas so they can come and take over. This is something that's been learned over generations that has been going on in Africa. Africa is rich in everything, oil, gold, diamonds, you name it, lithium. Everybody wants a stake in there. And I just realistically think the world's just turning a blind eye because it's been going on for so long. They're just going to let them they're going to fund one side and just let people take each other out. So people can just go there like China and just take over. That's realistically how I'm feeling about it. The world just said, fuck it. Let them do what they want so we can take what we want when they're done. That's why no one's getting involved.
That was deep, Enzo. I'm gonna play this clip and let Kimberly respond, but basically this girl said no one cares, and here's why.
Powerful people that don't want you to know what's going on in Sudan right now. Black Sudanese are being hunted down purely because of their skin color. The stories are horrifying, so scroll on if you can't handle it. Last week, Arab fighters went into a hospital and slaughtered over 400 black patients, family members, doctors, and staff. Every single person in this hospital gone because of the color of their skin. Arab militants butchering every non-Arab they can find. The numbers are staggering. By some estimates, over 150,000 lives lost in just 2 years. Thousands upon thousands of cases of over 14 million people displaced. And it isn't by chance that people don't know about this. It's by design. Over the last few years, activists have shown how quickly they can organize against Israel. But they aren't marching for Sudan, because Sudan doesn't serve the purpose of the people behind the protests. They cry human rights to bring people into the streets, but it's their silence that reveals that.
Ken, what do you think about what she said? Why are people not caring? And it blew my mind when I heard what was happening there. I did not know that this is being primarily based by skin color, and I was shocked when I heard that. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't watch mainstream media or news, but like your friend, I've always bring up Sudan or Congo or even Azerbaijan. There are a lot of tragedies all over the world and in this country. There are a few really good peace advocate organizations like Code Pink who will consistently bring up like the humanitarian issues in Cuba, in Sudan, and it's just, oh man, I'll send you some videos. But Sudan is one of the 7 countries of Israel's clean break strategy before 9/11. Syria, Libya, Somalia, Lebanon, Sudan, Iraq, and the only one that we haven't invaded is, you guessed it, Iran. So there's a whole other conversation there to be had. The reason why the media has ignored it, I think they just haven't been able to ignore the Palestine-Gaza issue. But the mainstream media, unless they're really forced to, won't talk about a lot of these humanitarian issues. I've never heard the mainstream media talk about the genocide of Armenians in Azerbaijan. Also, they don't, okay, so like our homies are the UAE. Same issue that we had with Yemen. A lot of people didn't know about I'm over here saying genocide, but I mean the huge humanitarian crisis and still going on in Yemen. And man, oh man, there's just so much going on there. But so also I will say the reason why Americans are galvanized against Israel and Palestine is because we fund them. And there's also
Correct.
a very, 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 very prominent pro-Israel propaganda machine in mainstream media. So it's the Americans' response to that. And also, I've been to pro-Palestine protests. I try to avoid the No Kings ones because they're weird. But I did go to the first one because it was kind of joined with the pro-immigration protest. And I will say, every single time I go to a pro-Palestine protest, you will see back-to-back Palestinian Sudanese flags because they look very similar, almost alike. They're the exact same flag, but you switch the black and the red. Very similar flag. So I know that people who are at least don't watch mainstream media, who are anti-war, who are pro-peace, who are anti-colonialist, like me, have known about the conflict in Sudan. And I'm glad she corrected it because the video you said 12 million, but it is 14 million people displaced. It is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, except to date, that would be Congo, which is also very sad. A very, very sad story. But I'll show you the videos that explain the clean break strategy, the Israeli clean break strategy. Sorry, the national security clean break strategy, the Mossad, the conservatives, and not Israel, not my Israeli friends. Yeah, this the whole conversation there. But I'm glad that people are talking about Nigeria and Sudan, and there's a bunch of issues all over the world that we could talk about. There's a colonial pro-war prophet. We're all puppets. There are people who are so rich we don't even know who the fuck they are because they live in the UAE. They don't disclose how much they really own. A lot of the richest people in the world we've never even heard of. We don't even know how much fucking money they have. And they control everything we see, everything we hear, everything we eat, everything we breathe. We really have to learn how to think for ourselves and look beyond especially the mainstream media and what we're being fed. A lot of it isn't really true.
Kamal, your topic tonight is why is Myron Gaines not talking about this, about his Sudan? What do you think about that? I mean, knowing what we know now, Myron calls himself an Arab whenever you hear him say. He did say he's a, so maybe he feels some guilt because, and I'm saying this as someone that's part Arab, he feels guilt that this is happening. I don't know. What do you think, Kamal?
Man, you look at, hold on, you right about that. He on the Arab side. That mean that motherfucking anti-black like they are over there. Damn. You feel me? I actually been knowing what's going on in Sudan. You feel me? They killing each other over like skin color and stuff like that. And I always pointed out, I'm like, why is this piss drinking hyena warrior always worrying about us Black Americans over here when you have a civil war over there? And now you gave me the final goddamn puzzle piece, Nora. It's the Arab people over there killing them. Bow. That's why he ain't talking about the shit. Why would he? He's trying to ignore it. You know who he gonna blame? He gonna be like, it's the blacks and the Jews. I'm like, how, Myron Gaines? How? So now black on black crime in Chicago that's causing that goddamn genocide in Sudan. It's us buying Jordans and shit and liking Popeye's chicken. While APAC is somehow is the main reason why the damn Sudan goddamn civil war going on out there. Somehow we gonna get blamed for it. And he gonna use the word nigga 30,000 times, hard ER, while saying that the war on Sudan is our fault. God damn. But like I said, that's why I ain't talking about it. Why? I'm like, we just poke fun at him doing it because we know he ain't gonna talk about it. Why would he talk about his own people doing some fuck shit like that?
If I see him at AmFest, which by the way is sold out, everybody, I'm going. More to come on that. I am going to go up to him and I'm going to ask him, why are you not covering Sudan? And I'm going to say it respectfully because he said, oh, we're both tethers together. That's what he said when I walked up to him.
He did say that. See, hey, because I know they said it's going to be Sudan people dispersing all types of shit. You feel me? Please, for the love of God, can we get the non-anti-black Sudanese people over here that's going to be on fucking code? Goodness gracious, man. Y'all shooting a high percentage of bringing goddamn the Sudanese people that be hella anti-black. And like, I'm not going to say all at this point, we smart enough. We not talking about all right? But I'm telling y'all, I done met some Sudanese people. You feel me? And I would say this. The anti-blackness was fucking strong within. But I didn't know if they're Arab or not. I didn't even ask that. I'm just like, you feel me? But yeah, it's just funny how people wag the finger at certain cultures and certain situations, and then you go in their lineage and background, and then you find out they fucking shitting in the streets and, you feel me, playing with Toronto J jerseys and shit. You feel me? If y'all get the joke. Shout out to the Dodgers. Shout out to y'all. You feel me? But that's all I really got to say about that. Like, y'all really opened my eyes. I didn't know it was the Arab people over there.
I didn't know that before today too. And I'm gonna play this clip now and get Mia and Gray to respond. This is what they're talking about, the UAE influencers.
Are UAE-based influencers targeting Sudan online?
والله العظيم لو بيدي أنا حرام لا أخليكم ذكريات والله ولا تصيروا شيء ما بنفضكم.
Another sang taunting Sudanese civilians.
أبو لولو أبو لولو جاينكو أبو لولو جاينكو.
Abu Lulu, the RSF militia commander who bragged about killing over 2,000 civilians and filmed himself executing them. The third.
بتبكون دم أتقولون شعره من محمد بن زايد شعره ما تطولونها.
As evidence of the RSF's Makos and El Fasher emerges and UAE support for the paramilitary group continues, these influencers and seemingly bots have tried to shift the blame to the Sudanese army and away from the RSF war crimes. And some of these posts are extremely racist. One even replied to a post about the UAE exploiting Sudan's gold, saying monkeys don't have gold. One of the most vocal in this online campaign is Amjad Taha. He's UAE based, positions himself as an analyst, and frequently appears on Western media. He has consistently linked Sudan's army to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, framing the Sudanese armed forces as the Hamas of Africa. This week, he shared images of two families. One, an Israeli family, the other, a Sudanese family, claiming both were victims of Muslim Brotherhood-led forces. In reality, Middle East Eye could not find any evidence that the Sudanese family was killed by the army. Following Taha, other Emirati and UAE-based influencers piled on, sharing Taha's video and calling the Sudanese army the Hamas of Africa. Then on Thursday, two other Emiratis posted nearly identical statements condemning Iran's reaction to the UAE's role in Sudan, defending both the UAE and Israel, suggesting a coordinated effort. And it's not just Emiratis. Israeli accounts were also quick to chime in, having spent a long time pointing to Sudan to deflect attention away from Israel's own actions in Gaza. Far-right Israeli influencer Avi Yemeni posted that Christians in Sudan and Nigeria are being slaughtered by jihadists, a genuine genocide. But because it doesn't fit the narrative, almost nobody cares. Israel's official Arabic language account also reposted the same images Taha shared, claiming, once again, Sudanese civilians were killed by Muslim Brotherhood-led forces, mirroring that same narrative, almost word for word. Now, interestingly, Israel's state-owned defense company recently opened a regional arm in Abu Dhabi, the first such move since normalization, signaling deeper military and strategic ties between the two countries. But this online messaging is not new. Since Sudan's civil war began in April 2023, UAE-linked influencers have repeatedly dehumanized Sudanese civilians. In June 2024, one UAE journalist wrote online that one Emirati man equals more than 1,000 Sudanese civilians, showing the deep-seated rhetoric that has accompanied the conflict from the start. And so, as El Fasher burns, UAE and Israeli influencers continue to rewrite the story.
Can I ask the panel a question real quick? No, in Sudan, do y'all know what type of resources that they have there, or if there's like any? Because yeah, I'm kind of wondering that, you know.
Kim might know. Kim, aren't they like under a famine right now too? Like, because they're starving. They have the desert.
It has been declared a famine, I think, a while ago. There,
Oil, gold,
agriculture,
minerals,
Yeah.
chromium, copper, asbestos, mica, colon, iron ore, manganese, basically everything.
Okay.
They have a significant resource, they say, of iron, ore, copper, chromium.
Uranium. Any civilized country is going to want uranium.
Right. But the ones taking over it's not really even America. It's mainly Russia and UAE from what I'm seeing. So, and to Enzo's point, European entities, but this is really, I don't know. I haven't seen that as heavily us. Mia, what do you think about that clip and the disinformation campaign that seems to be out there by those two people she named, countries she named?
I'm not surprised about the disinformation or rewriting of the narrative. So certain people are victims and certain people aren't the perpetrators. I'm not surprised at all. Plus, we're dealing with like the UAE, the people that live there, they have the kind of they have the level of wealth that is like unimaginable. Like these people literally live in la la land. They are so disconnected from like real reality and the real world out there. It's like a whole different thing. I am not surprised they're trying to rewrite the narrative. I'm sure because they're being paid to by their own governments or entities or whatever. I actually had no idea what was going on in Sudan, so this is all news to me. I am very empathetic and I have a lot of compassion for what's happening, but I feel like I'm kind of there with Enzo when it comes to this. I think it happens, unfortunately, when I say all the time, it happens quite often, especially when there is a toppling of governments over in various countries in Africa, and then the power vacuum happens and the civil war happens before somebody else rises on top. It seems to happen pretty often. over there, unfortunately. And I think if we're doing Maslow's hierarchy of needs in America, most people aren't even eating. They're not able to pay their basic bills like their shelter, food, water. So most people literally don't even have the capital in their minds to think about a genocide in Africa when they can't even fulfill that bottom part of that pyramid. So I don't think Americans are inherently being ignorant. I just think since we can't even meet the bottom part of that pyramid, we can't even elevate to the next part to think about somebody else's struggles at this point in time. Obviously that could change, but you know, we've been shut down for weeks now. Planes are probably going to start falling out the sky soon. So we got a lot of shit going on here. And unfortunately, I don't think Americans just bandwidth can handle anymore.
And I want to add on to that though, also, like, to be real, they always in American business. They don't tell us what's really going on over there, as we can see. It's like they so worried about what we got going on over here. It's hard for us to even like think about what's going on over there when they not even worried about what's going on over there their damn self.
Gray, what do you think? Why are Americans not caring and talking about this?
You're muted.
I think scientifically we need to look at the bloodthirstiness of humankind, because humans are the only species that do this. Lions, there was a coalition of lions. If you want to go see the documentary, it's called the Mambogo Lion Coalition. They went and they like killed over 100 lions, and they gathered all this territory, right? And the biologists were like, "Oh, you see, these lions are like the best lions ever." They killed the children. So you're basically trying to take over a territory and basically make this population never come back. So humankind is supposed to be so much advanced, but they do the same thing that other mammals do. So I mean, like Enzo and Mia said, yeah, this happens all the time. So why are human beings so bloodthirsty and don't care about human life?
Well, guys, that's what. Yeah, I mean the sharks, and now we got the lions.
Exactly.
We got the whole fucking zoo over here with Gray.
I gotta find a sound.
We're supposed to have one every single show. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I got a sound, I think. Guys, wait, where is it? Oh man, I don't know. Maybe a gong. Maybe that's a gong moment for you. The wild, so.
Oh shit.
That's a documentary if you want to see it. There was 4 brothers. They took over all of this land. 4 brothers. So if you want to go
Lion
see
Brothers?
Yes.
A little lion gang?
It was a whole
Wyans? Little lion Wyans?
Then they went and took over multiple prides. They took over multiple prides.
Oh God, this was great. Okay, but going back to the show, guys, this was great. Going to our poll, 125 votes. The majority is no. They do not think Ma'am Donnie is going to take over with 58%. So the no's won tonight. So maybe the future is bright. Enzo, you don't got to worry. The poll said it, so you don't got to worry, bro. You don't got to worry. But
I don't believe polls. Polls said Hillary was winning the fucking election. They said Trump was winning in 20. They said fucking Kamala was winning in 24. I don't believe polls.
Facts. But if you're watching, please. Oh God, this was a good show. Thank you for the laughs, guys. Thank you. I'm gonna allow the ladies to go first. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts?
My connection's really bad. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can kind of hear you.
Yeah, but you
Hello?
can just keep your camera off. That might help. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you? Yes, I can hear you, but I'm glitching.
You're glitching.
the
Okay, go ahead and
Matrix.
go ahead and come back in then, Kim. We'll let you go after.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts were this was a great episode. Hope our playing what's the fucking saying? With New York, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm gonna be a realist and say New York's screwed. with this government shutdown, I'm going to keep saying it. Democrats, you guys need to open your eyes, right? This entire government shutdown was over subsidies, right? I have the CR in front of me that the Democrats put forward. If this was about the subsidies, are we giving $400 million to European banks, $174,000 to widows of past Congress people, plenty of other money in this CR? Why couldn't they just sign the CR that was signed last year under Biden to open the government, to provide food for families, to FAA members? How much more blood do you need on your hands from your own people for them to realize? And now that the elections happen, they want to come to the table. This was emotional election manipulation. That's exactly what this was. And that's what I've been saying the entire week after reading all this. And I have people that are Democrats agreeing with me too. That's the funny thing about it. I talk about this every single day. One thing that I've been saying all my lives is we need to put civics test and a little bit of economy, some type of economy test into when you go to vote, because we see that voting now, people don't I'm sorry, Americans are stupid. I'm going to echo what the Europeans say. Americans are stupid at this point. You guys don't pay attention to anything. You just vote blue no matter who. You vote red no matter who. You don't look anything up. Politics is not that difficult. It's not rocket science. We need to pick who's best for our country and who's best for us at the end of the day, and that's not happening anymore. That being said, this was a great episode. I hope everyone has a great night and a great weekend.
Exactly. This was a great episode, Enzo. And Enzo, you brought up some valid points. People are dying. Somebody today just got unalived by the police because they stole some damn groceries. So more to come on that. Kim, you working now? You glitching? I think you're good now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. I don't know who needs to hear this, but socialism works. Trickle-down economics is a farce. The market does not regulate itself. And I think New York is going to be fine. Free buses in the richest city, in the richest country in the world. It can be done. That prayer we heard in Dearborn, I don't know if that was like outside of like a religious center, or if that's like in the cities, like how Hawaii has those tsunami warnings. That is a bit much. Yeah. So I think there should be a complete separation of church and state. I'm Christian. I don't think it should be a Christian state. Christ has not come here to establish a Christian state, but to free us from our oppressors. Also, I'm glad we talked about Sudan. My heart goes out to anybody, anywhere in the world. Me and my kids, we always pray for all the people of the world. If our leaders were true Christians, we wouldn't have all these conflicts all over the world. I do want to say there are people who are a lot smarter than me who do talk about these issues on principle and consistently. Code Pink is a really good anti-war organization. Antiwar.com is actually a libertarian organization. They talk a lot about Sudan. That's really good. Scott Horton is really good on that topic as well. Glenn Greenwald is good on that. The Gray Zone. There's so many great independent media sources out there that are not mainstream. Stop watching CNN. Stop watching Fox. Stop watching MSNBC. You don't have to agree with everybody on everything to follow them on certain topics. Like there are people that I follow on certain topics for my news source that I don't agree with them on everything, but we do need to be able to think for ourselves. And I do agree that there are a lot of stupid people out there. They intentionally keep us down. We're indoctrinated in these really a not well-funded public school system. It should be a beacon of the best educational system of the world, I think, this country. And also, just to end it, immigrants make America great. This country is the greatest country on the face of the earth because it is a pluralistic combination of people from all over the world. And that is what makes this country the greatest country in the world, the immigrants. But yeah, it was a great show. I really appreciated it. Thank you guys for having me again.
Thank you, Kim. Mia, what's your closing thoughts? Ooh.
Great episode. If you're not following us, please do follow us. We do this Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, great episode. If you ever find yourself out and about, make sure you don't run into any lions. They act like YNs and they like territory. So make sure if you do run into a lion, it's only one, not four, because they'll take over everything. Just throwing that out there. And I will say, a lot of tough times ahead. A lot of people don't know this month marks 18 months of the ending of the US petrodollar, which is why our economy is crashing and why our banking system is crashing, because oil is no longer sold exclusively in the US dollar. So there's a little factoid for you, because that agreement ended in June 2024 that we signed with Saudi Arabia, which is why our markets are crashing and why the banks are looking for quick liquidity in the repo market. So if you don't have cash, I suggest you go grab cash and you keep cash at home and you start stockpiling, because it's going to get rough and our economy is legitimately going to crash, because now we don't have the backing of the petrodollar anymore and we are no longer the reserve currency of the world. So everybody have a good night.
Oh Lord, we all gonna die according to Mia. Gray, what's your closing thoughts?
I would say, like, the reason Mandami won is because of affordability. Is always going to be top versus bottom. And today, Tesla shareholders approve a new pay package for Elon Musk to become the first person to become a trillionaire if he meets the performance targets that he's supposed to meet. So we're about to have our first trillionaire ever. So this doesn't look good. And this is why we have top versus down. Like we always say, a new party, always vote.
Always vote. Come on, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, this episode been funny as hell, especially the later part of the damn episode. Gray, you just explained the Lion King. I'm sorry, bro. That's the plot to the Lion King.
This is a real documentary. Go check it out.
What was it called? The Lion is King?
I'll put it back on the screen.
Shout out to Gray, man. You stay hitting us with the what was that motherfucker Crocodile Dundee ass facts? Appreciate it, bro. Keep us with the animal facts, man. Shout out to everybody else on the panel too. Y'all go follow everybody on the panel. They got their own TikToks. Enzo got 35 TikToks. I don't know which one he wants me to promote today. Check out Kim too. I don't know, Kim, we might have to deport your ass. You caving for these immigrants too goddamn much. But shout out to you, Kim. Appreciate you. Mia,
I was born here.
I ain't gonna lie, I got sad after hearing you. We broke, no money coming in. No, right. You just seem like we just about to just die. God damn. But shout out to Mia. Y'all go follow her too. And follow the new party. I got them pinned on my side of the game at the top of the chat. Also hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Go live Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also on my end, Kamal Johnson Network. Y'all go follow over there. Also hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Yeah, this episode was hella funny at the end. Goodness, man. Gray, I appreciate you with the goddamn animal facts, man. We got to make a damn segment and get a goddamn sound effect for that shit, bro. For real. Also, I learned something, and no, I'm glad we brought this up because I didn't know the Arab side in Sudan was the ones causing the genocide, which makes perfect sense why the hyena warrior, Myron Akhmak Gaines, didn't want to fucking talk about this shit. Like, it's his people that's hella anti-black over there. That's why it makes perfect sense on why he anti-black over here. So I'm glad we kind of covered this, you feel me? And it's just sad to see that, like, certain genocides get more promo than other genocides, right? But also Mamadani, bruh, immigrants didn't build this fucking country. I'm tired of that trope. Stop the bull malarkey. The immigrants didn't build no damn country, okay? All right. And I ain't gonna lie, shit is like Looney Tunes out here. You feel me? We got an immigrant in New York talk about, hell yeah, we caping for the immigrants. I'm like, oh shit. Y'all, New York, I'm telling you now though, you can't go to Texas. Greg Abot, he like, I'm gonna put a tariff on your ass. He literally said he gonna put 100% tariff on any New Yorker that moves to Texas. That's some Looney Tunes shit. But hey, I'm here to see it. The bring do that shit. It have more content for us. You feel me? But yeah, I hope everybody have a lovely weekend. You feel me? Unless you anti-black and a damn hunky. And I'm so glad David Johnson in the chat didn't go off the deep end. At least you was kind of on topic. You came in here at first, seemed like, you know, the old man yelling at pigeons again and digital pigeons, but you kind of stayed on topic. So appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else in the chat. Eric, you funny as hell, bro. Called me Afro Samurai. That's funny. Shout out to King, shout out to Heaven and everybody else that's part of the new party. Like I said, hit that notification bell for the new party so you know when they go live. And also, hey, did y'all know that people could go on the community tab and actually like post things on the community tab and have input? So y'all go on the community tab and start putting some input on things and stuff like that. And my last comment gonna be, if you gonna hate like that dweeb hated earlier, at least super chat us. We appreciate that. I'm about to go watch some Disney movies, man. Mia done got me sad. She like, we broke. I'm gonna go watch The Lion King, goddammit.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna end on a high note. The future is bright. America was built by the brave, not the fearful. We stand together in courage, or we fall apart in fear. W, Team New Party W, everybody in the chat. My closing thoughts I'm going to give to talk about our promo we're doing this month. So please check it out, support the team so we can pay for some Christmas gifts for the team. Here we go. God bless everyone. Good night. Hi, guys. We have an exclusive offer for the upcoming holiday season. So be a part of the fastest growing political movement out there right now, the New Party. If you join for $1.99 from now until December 31st, you get exclusive badges, exclusive emojis, and you also get access to all of our member-only content. For the next grade up, our $4.99 plan, which is for the senators, you get to join a once-a-month exclusive member-only call and ask us anything you like. Link in bio, check it out. Make sure you guys are joined. Also, make sure you're subscribing. Thank you for all your support.